Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today it's time for our Savage patch, and with that patch also comes some job balance changes, and it's those that we're going to be going over in today's video. So let's just jump straight into it. Monk, Arm of the Destroyer, Rock Breaker, 4-point Fury, and Shadow of the Destroyer, aka all of your AoE skills, will now grant you a chakra whenever you're under the effect of perfect balance. Before, it could happen that if you missed your AoE skill, that you would just not get a chakra, and if you're missing a chakra on your beast chakra gauge, you also could not get access to your perfect blitz. So you're missing out on the perfect blitz, and you're also missing out on the nadi that the perfect blitz would generate, so it would push back the usage of your phantom rush by a whole usage of perfect balance, which felt really bad. Together with this, Elixir Field, Flint Strike, and Rising Phoenix, aka your 3 Masterful Blitz, will now also grant you the nadi regardless of if you hit or not. So this is just great quality of life changes. It was really annoying that if you were to miss your AoE, or if the target that you're attacking dies right before you execute your Masterful Blitz, that it would basically push back the usage of your next Masterful Blitz, or well, the next Phantom Rush, that is. So these are just some amazing quality of life changes. Doesn't actually change anything to the DPS output of Monk, which is in a really good state right now, by the way, because Monk is quite strong. So I think that these are just great changes. Moving on to Dragoon, Wormburn Trust, Potency Boost, and same for Garros Kogel as well as Nastrond. I don't think Dragoon was doing that bad, so just getting some extra potency on top is just going to be really nice for those Dragoon players. Then moving on to Ninja, this one needed some changes, especially looking towards Raiju, and it seems that we got them as well. So, Raiton, the status effect granted upon execution has been changed from Forked Raiju Ready to Raiju Ready, and the effect now also lasts twice as long, to 30 seconds. Then for Bunshin, Phantom Kawaitachi Ready status effect no longer expires when the effect of Bunshin ends. The action now changes to Phantom Kawaitachi upon execution, and the Ready status effect now has a duration of 45 seconds. So there's a couple of things. One, it saves you a button, because it's now going to be on the same button that Bunshin is, and your Phantom Kamaitachi will no longer consume a Bunshin usage, and you can save it for 45 seconds. I think Phantom Kamaitachi itself is a really cool skill because it's a ranged attack and it extends your Huton, so it's a really flexible skill in where you want to use it in your rotation. No longer being tied to Bunshin duration itself is amazing as well, because it just adds to that flexibility, and this will also mean that we generate slightly more Ninki, because as we can read following, the change to Phantom Kamaitachi is that it no longer consumes a stack of Bunshin, and the increase to the Ninki gauge has been changed from 5 to 10. Now the reason why they did this is because because you used it under Bunshin, you would generate 5 Ninki from the Phantom Kamaitachi, and you would generate 5 from the Bunshin usage, but now just getting 10 means that we get 5 extra Ninki gauge, because we get to spend that Bunshin stack on a different GCD instead. So this is just a buff, really quite like this one. And then of course we have Forked and Fleeting Raiju. These are the ones that needed changes the most. So first of all, both of them now have a potency of 560, so you can choose which one you use, and then their effects have been changed. So for Forked Raiju, the additional effect of grants Fleeting Raiju Ready has been removed, and the execution has been changed from while under the effect of Forked Raiju Ready to while under the effect of Raiju Ready. Then for Fleeting Raiju, it's no longer a gap closer, because players will no longer rush to the target, and the range has been reduced from 20 yalms to 3 yalms, aka melee range, I believe that is. And then of course, potency boost to be the same as Forked Raiju, and then also the requirement has been changed from while under the effect of Fleeting Raiju Ready to while under the effect of Raiju Ready, and can also be set to your hotbar. So what this means to me is that whenever you use Raiton, you no longer need to immediately use your Raiju, and you get to choose whether you want a gap closer or if you want to have a normal melee attack instead, which I think are just both amazing changes. Usually you would use Raiton when you're disengaging from a boss while you still want to keep uptime, so getting to use Forked Raiju to gap close back to the boss afterwards could be quite nice, but sometimes you're going to be in a max melee range where you can't use gap closers, and that's where you'll be using Fleeting Raiju instead. So I really like this change, and I think that this might fix Ninja for me, to be honest. I'll have to just play around with it for a little bit, but these are some promising changes. Then moving on to Samurai, Higanbana, Midare, as well as their Tsubame Gaishi versions just have been gotten a range increase from 3 to 6 yalms. This is just nice because sometimes if the boss were to move away, it would cancel your cast, and now it won't cancel your cast as quickly, so just nice quality of life change over there. Reaper Arcane Crest Cure Potency has been reduced from 100 to 50. I've been hearing that the Arcane Chain Crest healing output is quite high for a melee, so I can see why they would nerf it. Reaper is also the strongest melee at the moment, which I was kind of surprised by. I was kind of expecting Samurai to still be up there, but both Reaper and Monk are actually doing more damage than Samurai right now. So I'm kind of surprised to not see any potency nerfs to Reaper, but at least addressing their healing is one part that they could have done, which I think is at least a good thing that that is where they started at. Then for Dancer, Standard Finish, Technical Finish, and Talana, which is the combo action of Technical Finish if I'm not mistaken, have all been changed from abilities to weapon skills. Now I'm not quite sure what this actually affects. Maybe the damage calculation for abilities and weapon skills is different, because Dancer is suffering a little bit in the damage department right now. So if that damage calculation from ability and weapon skills is different, then maybe this could be a DPS buff, but otherwise I'm not quite sure if this really changes anything for Dancer. I haven't finished leveling it to 90 yet, so can't really comment on this change too much. Then for Summoner, Fountain of Fire and Brand of Purgatory have gotten some potency boosts. These are your two Phoenix GCDs. Summoner again was another job that was lacking in the DPS department, so them getting some potency boost is quite nice. It only affecting Phoenix. We'll have to see how much this really impacts the rotation, or well, the DPS output, because you only get access to this once every 2 minutes. But it is for a fair amount of GCDs, so we'll just have to wait and see how much this actually affects the DPS output of the job. And then last but not least, we have Scholar. Fey Union now has its range increased from 15 yalms to 30 yalms, so basically double the range, which is really good because the amount of times that I used Fey Union and the tank was to run away from my fairy, and my fairy would just stand there and cast Fey Union without actually healing the target, that happened way too often, so getting double the range on that is just some amazing quality of life. And that does it for all the balance changes that we are getting in today's patch. So Monk changes, amazing. Dragoon getting some potency boost. I'm not quite sure if it was really needed, but a nice buff to Dragoon, I guess. Ninja changes, we'll really need to see how this plays out, but these are really promising changes. Samurai, nice quality of life. Reaper, slight nerf, but not to their damage output, so it'll still be played. Dancer, I'm not quite sure if this really changes anything, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Summoner, some much needed potency boosts, and then Scholar, also a nice quality of life buff to Fey Union. One thing I feel like is missing from here are Paladin potency boosts, because Paladin is kind of behind on the other 3 tanks at the moment, like Warrior, Gunbreaker, and Dark Knight are fairly close to each other, whereas Paladin is lagging behind a fair bit behind those 3, so I was kind of expecting to see some buffs over there. Also no Astrologian changes, which I was kind of expecting them to get some slight changes as well, maybe to the card system, but nothing in there as well. Outside of that, I don't think I was really looking for anything, like maybe some Samurai potency boosts, but that was just about it. Other than that, Ninja is the one that I was looking at the most, that needed changes, and they got them, so hopefully this actually works the way that I think it does, and then it could be in a really good spot right now. But those are the balance changes that we have gotten for our Savage patch. That is also going to do it for my video, so I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.